Hello there! In this lesson we'll be creating this cute little fish. This lesson would be a great classroom project as we've included lots of hints and tips for educators. It would also be a fantastic crafty project for you to do, or maybe give it a go with the kids. So each sculptor needs a modelling base and some clay. Montmart air hardening modelling clay is provided in 2 kg blocks and has enough clay for 3 sculptures of the size in this tutorial. I'm also using the pottery toolkit, some scissors, some black cord and a pencil about 60mm long. It's a good practice for all students to rewrap up any excess clay not used. So remove the sticker, cut the clay off, then rewrap it all up again for the next project. If it's kept in a cool, dark place, it can keep for up to 3 months. The pottery toolkit contains many useful tools, but the wire cutter is fairly essential. If you're cutting up a whole heap of clay for students, you'll want one of these. So I cut the clay into 4 slabs of a thickness of approximately 13mm each. If you're doing this as a classroom activity, this project can be created in any size. It's a good practice to store any unused portions of clay in an airtight container. So what needs to be done is that a consistent rectangular shape needs to be fashioned, joined and then smoothed out. Use a little water to help with this. The potter's rib can be used to speed up this process. Once one side is smoothed out, turn over the slab and join and smooth the other side too. Once our slab is finished, we take our image from the PDF. You can find this through the link above and cut it out with some scissors. If you wish to make a smaller fish, you can reduce the size of the printout. Once it's all neatly cut out, lay the fish onto the slab. The next step is to score the outline of the cutout fish onto the clay. We are using the fettling knife that comes with the potter's toolkit, but a butter knife will work as well. So carefully score the perimeter line around the fish. Remove the paper positive and then cut the clay away and put it into that storage container. Try not to distort the fish as you remove the clay. For this reason, cut a clay portion, then remove it and move on to the next portion. Once the clay is removed, the edges can be smoothed and the corners can be flattened and rounded. Use the water again to get a really smooth coat. The one weak point on this sculpture is where the tail joins the body. For this reason, it's a good idea to reinforce the tail with a toothpick. This is especially important for smaller sculptures. Next, I take my stumpy pencil and tie that black cord around it. The cord I'm using is waxed cord, often used for jewellery. Once the pencil is tied onto the cord, I press it into the middle of the fish to mark its position. I then cut and remove the clay and press the pencil into the clay and embed it. To create the top portion of the fish, I take the cutout and remove the fins and mouth. This will sit on the first portion like this. I take out another slab of clay, lay the shape on the slab and cut away the excess clay. I pare the edge back a little so the shape is domed. I smooth it all out and place it onto the fish in the correct position. Blend the 2 portions of clay together so the join is not visible. The scales are quite easily achieved by stamping the crescent shape from the ribbon tool. Observe how the patterns lie, with the point where the 2 crescents meet meeting at the centre of the next crescent, and so on. Take your time and try to make them evenly spaced. If you make a mistake at this stage, you can dip your hand in water and smooth it all back and reapply the shapes. If you don't have a ribbon tool, you can also use a teaspoon to create the scale texture, or the lid of a Montmart fine marker. The texture created from this lid actually looks really realistic. Once our scales have been stamped, our friend's pectoral fin can be attached. Follow the same process and cut the fin out of the printout and use it as a template. Add a touch of water to the back of the fin as it acts like a sort of glue and place it into position. We can then add some detail to the fins in the way of lines. To do this, I use the modelling tool in the toolkit, but a pencil could be used also. I keep the lines fairly consistent and even and make sure they are all to the same depth. We then create a couple of little rolls and add them to the mouth to suggest lips. The eye can be created by fashioning a ball and pressing it onto our fish's face. A smaller ball can then be created and centralised in the middle of the previous one, and that's the eye. Lastly, a nostril hole can be added and we can let our fish dry ready for painting. Acrylics are the best type of paint to use with air dry clay. I lay down silver in the satin series first. This seals the sculpture and provides a good base for subsequent colours. I also think the metallic sheen imitates the shiny reflective look of a fish. I let this coat dry and then squeeze out some metallic yellow and lay a thin coat over the entire fish. Acrylic metallic paint has a natural translucence about it, and any colours beneath it will shine through. I will say also, at this point, the painting stage is totally the artist's choice. If this project is to be done in a classroom sitting, most children will prefer to use colours of their own choosing, and you can be sure they'll make some weird and wonderful choices.